So hello everybody, welcome to another one of these Substack videos. No trade calls, no recommendations, and responsible own stuff here for educational purpose only. So I just want to do a very quick update on two of the key charts we've been talking about, right? So actually the first one was DXY, right? We've been talking about this for a long time. The fact that there was a potential ball underwater dynamic around the 100 mark since we're trying to base here at this level, and this was a key pivotal turn point. And the other one was the recent action we saw on SPX, as we discussed, really the kind of ramp we had, low volume ramp, and poor structure at these highs basically gave us an insight on the fact that this kind of structure is very vulnerable to a little bit of an unwind, and you would expect to see a move back into the 10-day moving average. So right here, going into the week, just a couple of things to focus on. Once again, DXY, it's going to be very hard for stocks in general to continue to hold an upside pump if the DXY can get traction above that 100. Now, remember, on earnings, what's important is not so much what happens on earnings, is how price settles the day after earnings and the end of the week. And, you can go back and look at, all the earnings, rather lackluster action after the actual gaps we've seen. So here, watch this USD, right? Keep in mind, we're also going into November, which tends to be seasonally strong period for USD. And what you want to watch is how we tackle this 100 mark. If you go back on the weekly, you can see that recently, every time we tried to get back into this level, pretty much all year, we kept on getting smacked down. And here, this is the first time, we closed very close to it. Obviously, it's not the not the place here, but if you look at the individual charts on the FX charts, everything looks like it's very close to potential very aggressive unwinds. Now, all of those, I think we've discussed on the Substack too, started reversals on that last FOMC, and those are all playing out, but they're really at a point where they could accelerate. So this is the level to watch on the week. Don't get confused by noise around the 100 mark. But in the same way that we've had very aggressive smackdowns at the 100 mark, don't forget that a pop above opens up that ball underwater mechanic, and you can get a very aggressive rip all the way back into the cluster of these moving averages and the 103 mark. And it's going to be very hard for stocks to maintain a strong pump if that happens, and that could catch a lot of people off guard, right? On the other hand, if you're looking at SPX, keep in mind that essentially off these April lows, we've rallied over 40%. So in the bigger scheme of things, even if we were to retrace this whole move, right, back to the 50 back, which is pretty much the 5,900, that's a very healthy move, right? So it wouldn't be crazy to see some kind of retracement. So shorter term going into this, the way I would look at it is expect that 10-day moving average to try and continue to be defended. And that's going to be your short-term bull bear line, right? Any price action that can broadly hold above that highs and these highs here, you would expect market to be sideways to up, chop with the risk of the pain trade being an explosive rip higher. If we lose that level, then expect the market to go into a little bit more neutral territory, right? And that would essentially be this 50-day moving average protection of the 100 coming in, these previous lows we discussed, and this whole area becomes very neutralish, right? So above here is green, strong, bullish. Below here becomes neutralish. And if you start to see at any point day closes below the 50-day, well, then that's going to open a bigger unwind, potentially all the way back down into the 200 DMA. And keep in mind that should we get there, there's formidable support here in terms of the 2025 open, in terms of these previous highs, number one, number two, in terms of the 200 DMA, number three. So it's not necessarily a cause of concern, bigger picture in terms of those looking for that stronger seasonality, November into April or Santa Claus rally. But just keep in mind here that lights are flashing amber, and especially pay close attention to what happens on the USD. But here there's a window where basically you could see a little bit of a neutral to potential downside action. Okay, wishing everybody an awesome one. All the best. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.